Ahoy there, baby dolls. Welcoming you back to crypto's juiciest news. The Bitcoin price starting to take a bit of a tumble down to 170,000 American dollars. We can't see it much on the monthly chart, but as you know, Donald Trump came out and pretty much said, fuck Europe. Fuck everyone in Europe. Out of the nowhere. Obviously, I have a lot of European friends. I do love and appreciate every single one of you. It's just, just woke up. You just said, you know what? Screw you guys. And the markets decided to take a bit of a tumble around that. Here is the Bitcoin dominance still charging up high. And this yellow line that I've overlaid with, friends, this is the actual business PMI cycle. So that's going to come in handy later on. We are actually ready to crank now because we've had the most earth-shattering news. The flash PMI manufacturing index, the flash one, which is I think they give it like 1 or 2 weeks early. It came out and it blew expectations to the upside. They were expecting 49.9 and we got a massive 52.3. Now it does get revised, so we aren't 100% sure where it's going to land, but hopefully that's a step in the right direction. The Bitcoin weekly chart also looks all right. Maybe it does finish red. We have 7 green weeks in a row. A lot of people are confident that we're just going to keep shooting up. And look, we can keep shooting up, and I think we actually deserve it. Like, we just had 6 red months in a row, bro. Like, look at the others BTC. Crushed, 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 crushed. So we deserve a lot of friendship and kindness on the way up. Also interesting, something you'll find, Tether, which is literally poisonous CBDC on the currency, on the blockchain. Tether is the red line here, red market cap. It's at 152 billion. I mean, look what it was last year. It was only at around 115 billion. So check that out, man. That's almost 40 to 50% growth in like a year. That's cracker, man. So stablecoins are growing that much. And just to let you know, the US Treasury Committee, they forecasted Tether or all stablecoins to hit 2 trillion by 2029. So the next 4 years. And if you just do the compound growth rate of that, it's like 40 to 50% per year. So it's kind of fascinating. That's how much stablecoins are growing. And that StableCoin Supercycle might play in handy. Now, I'm going to quickly look at the PulseChain core coin prices here, friends. Everything is slightly up on the day. We have pDAI up 23%. The People's Bitcoin up 26%. What's going on there? They are the most oversold. They're the deepest value contrarian on the chain, so it's not surprised they have very, very thin liquidity and they can be cranked up quite fast. Now, if I show you that business PMI cycle, this is very exciting. We're about to hit 52. And some quick information from the past cycles. Not that they're going to repeat, okay? They don't have to repeat, but in the past cycles, when you go above 52, it is alt season time. Alt season actually begins. Confidence is very high. And when does the top happen after that? For crypto, not stocks, for the crypto, anywhere from 10 months to 18 months. If you took 10 months as your base, the lowest one, 10 months, I guess, from today puts us at around March next year. Maybe it's going to be a full 12-month run, which means it's going to run right into May next year, which would be funny because it might be sell in May, go away all over again. And remember, this year was buy in May, go away. And I told you why we had buy in May, go away. And that's because of the traffic jam example. Because everybody in the stock market land thought they were going to be geniuses. They bought on Donald Trump entering the presidency. And then because they're scum non-believer Jeets and they're pieces of trash subhuman filth who can't believe or stand for nothing, paint their own fingernails, have pencil necks and noodle arms, skipping leg day, because they're all non-believer Jeet scum, they all sold the bottom here of the S&P 500, every single one of them. You know who you are. You failed. Once again, you failed because all of you said the cycle was over in June or July. What were you doing? You started jeeting in March. You started jeeting in April. Is April the month of July? No. Is March the month of July? No. Why were you selling? because you're a scum non-believer, G. So I say you can suck on your big fat losses, and I will look forward to you buying the top of the rest of our bags as the stock market continues higher after we get through these jitters, and you really truly see what I've been saying was correct. And that is AI is growing at a super fast pace, exponential. We already have 120 IQ robots, AI. In a year, they're going to be 200 IQ, which is the smartest human being ever, but they're going to have a 200 IQ in every field. And then you roll forward another 1 year from that, we're going to have 300 or 400 IQ. So we've never seen a human like that. So isn't that going to be exciting? We're literally going to have an entity on Earth that we've created as humans, not non-human intelligence, that we can actually talk to and create stuff. That'd be wild. Well, I'm going to ask Mr. 300 IQ AI robot one question and one question only. How do we get the bags to pump? And I want to see what answer they give. So there's always that topic, right? If you go on crypto Twitter, no one's celebrating Bitcoin because everyone's in altcoins. But people have convinced themselves that's the reason why the Bitcoin trend on Google is down and it's not up. Wrong. What you're doing is you're simply describing the candle color. Okay? What's actually happening is a lot of leverage is done on Bitcoin. That's what's actually happening. And it's dangerous leverage. Bitcoin dominance up for 4 years, my friends. Think about it's literally up only for 4 years. It does not know what a pullback is. These people who are on credit cards, they are on loans, they are on leverage trades. They're on every single Fugazi, Ponzi, they've like another form of leverage. Willy Woo has sold all his Bitcoin and put it in Bitcoin infrastructure. Right? Altcoins are the infrastructure, bro. Do you know that? So, I mean, you should know that. It's just that they're Bitcoin maxis. So that has to get unwound, friends. That's another thing. Like, I'll just give you an example. You and me have $1 million. Let's say someone gave us $1 million to invest. Let's say I go buy all altcoins. Because I'm like, hey, they're cheap. I don't care how long it takes. They're cheap, okay? But you're a Bitcoin maxi. What's the $1 million Bitcoin maxi doing on average now? You're not buying $1 million of spot BTC. They're getting $1 million. They're putting leverage on it. That's what it's saying. I mean, like, look at Microstrategy, the Ponzi stocks. They're all doing it. And when you have a company, friends, as well, something you have to hear from me. When you have a company like MetaPlanet or these other ones putting Bitcoin on the Treasury, I'll tell you now, man, you only know a world where Bitcoin goes up, bro. You don't know the bear market world. You know it can be a bear market. You don't know the story. You're not one dude, right? I've got a Game Boy. You don't have a Game Boy. You've got a board and a water cooler. And so when Bitcoin's getting crushed in the bear market, you have to explain to like 13 other boomers who don't even know their kid's name anymore. You have to explain to them why Bitcoin's still a good hold. Right? Now, it's easy to think about now because they go, oh, you know, Michael Saylor's bullish, long-term. I say long-term my ass. Right? I was here. Everyone was getting liquidated, bro. Everyone. Genesis. Brokers. What's going to happen in the next bear market? It's not going to be those brokers getting liquidated. Who's it going to be? The companies. The countries. Someone's going to get dusted. Hard. And even if they don't get dusted on leverage, their people are going to call for it. They're probably going to change presidents and stuff. They'll be like, stuff this Bitcoin stuff is stupid. We wasted the treasury of our country. Sell it now and recoup it and pay poor people. And they'll do that. We will see. But first, we need the price to go up so much that we attract non-believer scum countries. The non-believer countries. I don't know who they are. But they're out there. And they're ready to buy high. Check out this news as well, friends. Polygon founder Mihailo Bjeljic steps down, becoming the third co-founder to leave since 2023. So it's from Matic Polygon. So this is pretty much what's been happening, friends. There's a lot of governments, they're putting guns to people's head metaphorically, and they're saying, you got to step down. We're going to put our people in. That's what's going to happen over time. People will be stepping down, and they're going to be replaced with, like, you know, the Richard Pengs from Binance, where they're like, compliance, regulation, compliance, regulation. They're just going to say stuff like that. That's probably what's going to happen in the future. But until we get to that moment, we're got nothing to worry about. Check this out. Bullish. Besant says StableCoins could reach 2 trillion of demand for US Treasuries. Where did he get that 2 trillion? He read the US Treasury Committee and the StableCoin report. I had a breaking news episode on that. Remember, like a week or two ago. Their forecast, so stablecoins are about 250 billion in crypto now. Their forecast is 2 trillion by 2028, 2029. And so the growth rate is like 40 or 50% per year, man. That's wild. Let's listen to what he says.
If really we went big into stablecoin in this country, what effect could that have on the strength of the dollar? Because people might have to hold dollars in order to match against it, or even for treasuries.
Well, we are going big on digital assets. So Trump administration has made digital assets a priority. Past administration starved and almost made extinct a lot of these companies and pushed it offshore. So what we want to do is apply the highest U.S. regulatory and AML standards to digital assets, especially stablecoins. And I've seen estimates that just over the short term, stablecoins could create 2 trillion of demand for U.S. treasuries and treasury bills. To put that in context, the number is probably about 300 billion right now.
That is big, right? Big. So, like I said, friends, US dollar, it will retain its dominance. How? Stablecoins. There's a StableCoin Supercycle. The government wants it. Everyone wants it. My pDAI bags want it. Your pDAI bags want it. PulseChain wants it. We want a StableCoin Supercycle because I think there's a logo out here with a very, very, very green color. Ink. Incentive. Can you see it? It's so green, friends. Look how green it is. You can barely see it. The green incentive logo. So, why is that important? Well, if we have a PulseX yield farm that has bonded pDAI and let's say a cuck currency USDT, and remember, Tether are earning no yield. 0. All right? They're scum. Tether holders, you're in the hotel cuck chair. Tether have $150 billion of cucks now. That's a lot of cucks out there. Imagine Richard had a plan to get, you know, a couple of % of those people who are earning no yield to bridge into PulseChain and earn yield. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Now you can actually do something with your Tether while you sit and hold. So that might be something coming in the future, but we'll see. Also, more bullish statements. Michael Saylor, the only thing better than Bitcoin is more Bitcoin. This is the chart. Look at the Bitcoin returns, 3 months. Apple crushed. Look at this. Bitcoin, 19%. And in the orange, Microstrategy, 31%. Now, the most important part of this, friends, is you have to look at the MSTR BTC ratio. Let's see if MSTR is still Microstrategy. There you go. And what you have to do is put it on a log chart so you can actually see it. This is actually cracker. And this chart is actually very tough to outperform, friends, because look, when you bought Bitcoin, it was here. So it's doing great. You know, you outperform Bitcoin at the top 300%, 137%, which is big. But like, look at the risk you're taking, bro. But yeah, they try to mitigate the risk by putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet. That helps. But yeah, at some point, just so you know, like, it's just funny how it works, friends. Everyone says Ponzi can't collapse. Everything's fine. Never going to happen. Okay. MicroStrategy is given a premium, which means it trades above the valuation of the Bitcoin on its balance sheet. Okay. When I ask a MicroStrategy believer, I said, okay, sir, what happens if you trade at 0.3 to the MicroStrategy valuation? And when I say that, their heads explode. They say, it can't happen. They said, why would anybody want to own 0.3 of a BTC value when they can claim $1 worth of it? And I go, well, how do you think they're going to get it back to $1, bro? How do you think they're going to get back to 1-to-1? Yeah, they're going to sell assets. Well, guess what? You've only got one asset, 596,000 BTC. How do you think they close the gap? Investors? No. They're all Jeets. They will sell bottoms. If the economy's going bad, they'll sell. If MicroStrategy has 15,000 competition now and more liquidity rails, and people don't need to buy MicroStrategy as a proxy for BTC, what do you think they're going to do with that Bitcoin? Sit on it forever? Yeah. Michael Saylor's going to try to sit on it forever. What about the 40,000 class action lawsuits taking him to jail and forcing him to sell some of the Bitcoin to close the gap so they can cash out? You think that won't happen? Of course it's going to happen. That's bear market stuff. So you always have this reality about you, friends. MicroStrategy, it's a cuck proxy. You know what I mean? It's like you want risk. You don't want to buy a direct leverage call option, so you buy this. So you know how these eventually end. They pop. Just like Grayscale. Grayscale GBTC was trading at 40% premium, I think. And then somewhere in the bull market, it went to 0. And then obviously it went all the way down to negative 50%. And look how long it took. They had to wait all the courts, all the judgments, SEC blocking them. My gosh, finally, just to get back your break-even BTC. What a nightmare. And some other gently soothing news, friends. Tokenized treasuries have topped 7 billion, led by BlackRock's Biddle nearing 3 billion. Wow. Signaling rising institutions' interest on on-chain assets. Now, this is big, okay? Very big. Tokenized treasuries, 7 billion. You know it's gone to the trillions one day because it's amazing, man. Like, see, friends, that's the thing, right? Crypto, we allowed everybody in the world, oh, now you can have your own currency called Bitcoin. No one can stop you. Sweet. But now, sad truth is, more people want US dollar than Bitcoin. 85% of the world trading dominance is US dollar, right? So now we are accommodating for it, which is great. The problem is the rate of growth of the fiat stablecoins is absolutely dwarfing Bitcoin. Like, we're going nuclear. Like, stablecoins are about to 10x in 4 years. You know, Bitcoin's not 10x in 4 years, right? I mean, I hope it does, but you see the point. So what do we do with that? We're going to tokenize treasuries, put everything on there, but that's why the banks, they're putting the evil genius act. Because if you have a stablecoin and it has to be backed in the US bank account, that means it forces them to keep giving it to the US government for their treasuries, to keep creating a bid on their poopy fiat. That's why. If you have a crypto-backed stablecoin like DAI, it's a problem because you are backed by the crypto. And if you have money in crypto, it's not sitting in a US dollar bank account buying treasuries, is it? No. It's the crypto has value and you've put an asset on there to back it. So as you can see over time, there will be a rift of cypherpunks want to go the Ethereum Richard Hart pDAI way, and then pencil neck, noodle arm, leg day skipping, rounded elbows, rounded knees, those types, bug eaters, bug worshippers, the sheep, they're going to go the route of the CBDC stuff. That's That's what Ripple's doing, XRP, USDT, USD Trash. You've got Skynet, USD Soy. You've got Cuckbase, USD Cuck. All of them are government appliant to do that, right? That's where, obviously, unfortunately, the future's going. But I'll leave you with something pretty juicy, friends, as well. PulseChain is the only chain with 100% legal clarity. What does that mean? PulseChain does not live in a country. It's sovereign. Okay? Lives on the internet. Judge Auntie Carol. Where does the blockchain live? Can't be answered. Which is interesting now. Because now PulseChain is the only legally clarified chain where it's actually quite sovereign. I wonder what that means for anybody trying to get this magical stupid pDAI coin who we won't tweet about except 33 times in 1 month. I wonder if this has something to do with it. Because now it's actually outside the jurisdiction. And just to give you an idea, friends, I use the word stablecoin for this. It's not the real word. It's another word. We don't know what the fuck it is. No one's ever seen anything like this. It's not a stablecoin. And for legal clarity, we'll probably call it something else, right? There'll be another term. You could call it like poo-poo. You know what I mean? Just like a CoinGecko sector appears, poo-poo. And like with like one of one token in there. Because I've never seen anything like it. That'll be interesting, right? And let's check out some degeneracy. James Wynn, who is a hyperliquid whale, he has a 1.25 billion position. Now, here's the thing, friends. 99.9% of the time, these things are fake, trying to engagement farm. The reason why these guys are nutcase is it's real. It's verified on the leaderboard. You can actually see his wallet. Like, it's actually doing stuff. And everyone's like, we're like, bro, what are you doing? You're, okay. First, you lost the mountain. Then you started gambling with like a little Greek island. Okay, now we're moving into... My gosh, I don't even know what we're moving into. This guy's just a freak of nature. P&L up $4 million. Man, this is just wild. So please don't do this, friends. Please, 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 please. Look, I could almost turn anybody profitable as a trader. The problem is it takes 1, 2, or 3 years. 99% of people give up. It's a waste of time. You spend a lot of your time filtering for who really wants it and who doesn't. It's a full-time job. And then you have to talk to them all the time. And then how much money can you possibly charge to make up for it? If you want to help 100,000 people and charge $100,000, okay, sweet. But you can't help 100,000 people. You're just sending 100,000 courses. And then 1% win rate, right? And you know, at the start, it's more like 5 or 10%. But by like year 3 or year 5, it's back down to 1%. Just a mug's game. And then after all of that, the retardio who simply buys and holds and watches their bag closely and bets more than they can afford to lose, they're the ones who win by a long shot. Which person are you? You're my friend. Like, subscribe, catch you soon.